It is the ultimate paradox of power. A cold, ruthless law that dictates the lives of the elite, yet remains invisible to the masses. The more you care, the more you suffer, and the less you care, the more the world seems to bend to your will. It is a psychological glitch in the matrix of human existence. The moment you stop obsessively chasing, forcing, and desperately clinging to an outcome, is the exact moment those very things begin to flow toward you with zero effort. But why does the world reward the detached while punishing the desperate? In the 16th century, the philosopher Michel de Montaigne didn't just theorize about this, lived it. He observed the world with a cold, strategic curiosity. He watched men burn their lives down in the fires of anxiety and desire. He saw the endless loop of hope followed by crushing disappointment, and he found the root cause. It was simple yet devastating. Our obsession with control is the very thing that makes us feel powerless. Imagine you are trying to influence someone of high importance. You analyze every syllable of your speech. You overthink every message. You micromanage every movement of your body. You are striving for a perfection that doesn't exist, but in that very struggle you become rigid. You look tense. You look artificial. And in the world of power, artificiality is a scent that attracts predators. Now compare that to someone who is entirely relaxed. Someone who carries themselves with a quiet, dangerous confidence. Someone who is simply present. Which one holds the gravity? Which one commands the room? This principle isn't just for social circles. It is the law of wealth, relationships, and strategic dominance. The more you chase something out of fear, the faster it retreats into the shadows. But when you abandon the desperate need for a result, when you stop over-trying and simply exist in your own authority, everything begins to click. The pieces of the puzzle move on their own. Montaigne wasn't advocating for laziness. He wasn't telling you to sit on the sidelines. He was teaching the art of tactical release. When you strip away the frantic necessity for things to be a certain way, you liberate yourself from the cycle of inadequacy. This is where true, raw power resides. There is a psychological phenomenon known as the law of reverse effort. It is a cruel game played by the mind. The harder you force a result, the more that result evades your grasp. Think of sleep. The more you try to fall asleep, the more your mind races, keeping you wide awake. Think of confidence. The more you try to look confident, the more your underlying insecurity leaks through the cracks. The more you struggle to find happiness, the more you realize how far away it actually is. Montaigne argued that instead of declaring war on reality, a master learns to flow with it. He noticed that the most miserable people are those who are constantly planning, constantly forcing and obsessing over every minor variable. They are the architects of their own stress, building a prison of what-ifs. But those who can step back, those who observe the game from a high vantage point and refuse to clutch at every passing desire, they find a sense of ease that the chasers will never know. Ask yourself, have you ever wanted something so badly it consumed your every waking thought? A business deal, a partner, a specific title. Did you notice how that very desperation created a wall between you and the goal? When you hold on to something too tightly, you are acting from a state of total lack. You are screaming to the universe that you are not enough without this thing. And the world, being a cold mirror of your internal state, responds by keeping it out of reach. Now think of the times you didn't care as much. The times you were detached, focused on the process, or simply being yourself without a hidden agenda. Opportunities didn't just appear, they hunted you down. People didn't just notice you, they were drawn to your orbit. Why? Because your energy was different. You weren't forcing, you were allowing. This is the secret of the greats, the power of letting go. It doesn't mean you are indifferent. It means you care, but you do not cling. You take the action, but you do not suffocate the outcome. You do your best, then you step back and trust that the chips will fall exactly where they need to. There is a hidden power in this kind of surrender. When you let go of the need to control the narrative, a mysterious force is unleashed. The tides turn. It is the supreme irony of existence. The more you relax, the more control you actually possess. But this isn't the control of the amateur. Most people think control comes from micromanagement, from white-knuckling the steering wheel, from constant, low-level anxiety. It doesn't. Real control comes from the understanding that life is fluid. Life doesn't respond to your frantic demands. It responds to your frequency. Montaigne saw this with total clarity. He watched how some men suffered through every minor inconvenience while others found peace in the heart of a storm. He realized that most of us are prisoners in a cell of our own construction, a cell built from the bricks of our own thoughts. We have been conditioned to believe that success is a prey we must hunt until we are exhausted. But it's like trying to grab water in your palm. If you squeeze your fist, the water vanishes through your fingers. If you keep your palm open and flat, the water stays. That is the paradox of effort. True mastery is effortless. It is a state of being, not a frantic series of doings. This is where the majority of the world fails. They think that if they aren't stressed, if they aren't grinding their teeth, they aren't working hard enough. Montaigne tells us the opposite. When you loosen your grip, you stop fighting the current and you start using its power. Look at the titans of industry, the most charismatic leaders, the most fulfilled individuals you know. They don't smell of desperation. They move with an ease, a calm certainty, and an absolute presence in the moment. This isn't because they don't care about the result. It's because they have mastered the art of letting go. Letting go is not the same as giving up. It is about letting go of the need to manage every outcome. It's about silencing the voice that overthinks every possible failure. It's about refusing to let fear dictate your next move. You act with cold, calculated confidence because you know that whatever happens, you have the capacity to handle it. This shift is your ticket out of anxiety and into a position of true influence. The moment you stop needing something to happen, you maximize the probability that it will. When you start living this way, something internal shifts. It's like walking out of a hurricane and realizing that you were the one creating the wind all along. The tension, the mental struggle, the endless internal debates, they were all self-inflicted. Montaigne saw how we create our own hells by obsessing over things that are miles beyond our reach. We replay old conversations until they become wounds. We worry about what strangers think until we lose our own voice. We stress about a future that hasn't happened until we lose the only thing that is real, the now. But what if you just stopped? Not out of recklessness, but out of a tactical realization that this mental noise is a liability. Think about your current stress. How much of it is actually real? How much of it is a ghost haunting your mind? Are you suffering more in your imagination than you are in reality? Montaigne believed that our greatest battles are not with life, but with our resistance to life. The moment you stop fighting what is, you gain a power that is nearly supernatural. Take social dynamics. We've all seen the person who is desperate for validation. They overanalyze every joke, they try too hard to be liked, and in doing so, they become invisible. Why? Because need is a repellent. Desperation is a scent that everyone can smell, and it screams low value. But when that same person stops caring, when they stop overthinking and just exist, everything shifts. They become magnetic. This applies to everything. Think about the last time you were truly in the zone. You were deep in a project or a conversation. You weren't forcing it. Sen orada oldugun isin hershey akiyordu. Life rewards the light-footed. Those who move with a sense of humor, a sense of detachment, and a willingness to adapt are the ones who conquer. They don't get crushed by the world because they never demanded the world be a certain way. The paradox holds, the more you relax, the more you receive. The universe doesn't respond to struggle, it responds to harmony. When you stop being the hunter and start being the mountain, the prey comes to you. Success, influence, wealth, they all follow the path of least resistance. Letting go is not a sign of weakness, it is a high-level strategy. It is a superpower for the modern age. Why do we struggle with this? Because of the illusion of certainty. Your brain is hardwired to seek safety in patterns. It would rather stay in a familiar misery than step into an unknown paradise. This is why people stay in toxic relationships and dead-end jobs. Montaigne saw this 500 years ago. He saw people clinging to beliefs that strangled them simply because those beliefs were comfortable. When you embrace the unknown, life stops being a threat and starts being a game. Uncertainty is an open invitation to experiment and to dominate. Rigid control is the father of failure. Fluidity is the mother of growth. Consider Leonardo da Vinci. He didn't define himself by one label. He followed his curiosity and let go of the need for a fixed path. As a result, he became the ultimate polymath. The elite don't panic when things go sideways. They understand the nature of cycles. They don't fight the crash. They wait for the opportunity. They know that control is a fairy tale, and because they don't need to control the world, they end up owning it. Look at your own life. What are you clutching that is holding you back? What belief or plan are you refusing to let go of simply because you're afraid of the void? Montaigne's warning rings true. The man who fears suffering is already suffering from what he fears. We don't fear reality. We fear the loss of our illusion of reality. The moment you stop forcing, you stop being a victim. You stop chasing and start attracting. You see life not as a battle, but as a masterpiece. Montaigne wasn't just talking about philosophy. He was giving us a blueprint for a superior way of living, a way to move without friction. Certainty is a ghost, but your ability to adapt is real. The more you lean into that, the more powerful you become. When you stop chasing control, life starts working for you. It's not magic. It's simply that your mind is no longer working against itself. Stress is the ultimate performance killer. The more anxious you are, the worse you perform. But when you relax, when you let go, everything clicks. Montaigne saw that the real enemy wasn't failure, it was fear itself. The moment you stop caring what they think, your voice becomes natural. The moment you stop forcing the idea, the breakthrough arrives. The moment you stop needing it, you finally get it. We've been told that control is security. We've been told that uncertainty is the enemy. But the giants of this world know the truth. They don't control, they allow. They don't force, they flow. Your stress is not caused by your life. It is caused by your resistance to your life. Stop the war. Stop the internal conflict. Embrace the uncertainty as an invitation. Because when you stop trying to force life to be what you want, you finally get to see life for what it truly is. And that is when everything finally falls into place.